Welcome back to The Explainer, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we're diving into something really, really special. We're going to unpack the dense, incredibly atmospheric lyrics of the poem Marionette's Walk. If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by the relentless pace of modern life, or kind of felt like you're just another cog in a giant machine, the social commentary hidden in this piece is going to resonate so deeply with you. We're going to decode the haunting imagery and figure out exactly what this is telling us about industrialization and the terrifying potential loss of our humanity. Okay, let's dive right into this with the absolute heart of the text. Just listen to this line. People walk like marionettes, just shells of empty air. Right out of the gate, the source material establishes this deeply melancholic, super unsettling tone. We aren't looking at a world full of vibrant, independent people. Instead, the narrator sees everyone around them as hollowed out. They're physically walking through the world, sure, but internally, they're just shells. It instantly makes you wonder, what could have possibly drained the life out of them so completely? So what does this all mean? It brings us to the big, central question we need to keep in the back of our minds as we explore this. What happens when industrialization strips away our humanity? When we literally pave over the natural world with concrete and machinery, do we fundamentally change what it means to be human? This overarching theme is woven through every single line we're analyzing today. And as you'll see, the author paints a pretty terrifying picture of that exact scenario. To truly understand this, we need to peel back the first layer of the onion. Part 1, a fractured dystopian world. The imagery used here is just incredibly visceral. The author writes that streets hum like broken chords in a sad refrain and describes echoes of laughter drowned in acid rain. Just picture that in your mind for a second. We're talking about a place where the concrete is cracking, where shadows stretch long and dark, and neon glows over completely collapsed dreams. Even the sound of the city itself is musical but broken, just this sad, mechanical humming. And that is the foundation of the world we're exploring. The city's infrastructure is portrayed as fundamentally decaying and sorrowful. By using highly evocative words like acid rain and broken chords, the lyrics literally build a rotting, polluted environment. This isn't your average bustling downtown, it's a toxic wasteland, where even the good memories, those echoes of laughter, are literally washed away by the corrosive byproducts of industry. But it's not just a sad city. Let's look at Section 2, Glitches in the System, where the natural order has been entirely erased. And the stark contrast brilliantly illustrates the tragedy at the core of it all. On one hand, you have the memory of the natural world. I once heard birds. And on the other, the stark reality that replaced it. Now just machine hum. It's a total sensory takeover. Nature has been systematically wiped out, and the only sound left to fill that massive void is the relentless, emotionless drone of machinery. Because the natural world was swapped for this manufactured one, the narrator starts experiencing reality itself breaking down. The lyrics rapidly list off these surreal, disorienting glitches in the system. The clock ticks backwards, so time doesn't even flow naturally anymore. Truth is wrapped in a lie, creating a world with zero trust. Static whispers collide instead of genuine communication. And most frighteningly, maps don't match, meaning the roads are all twisted. Reality has quite literally become an unsolvable puzzle. The world is broken. Which brings us to the real core of the text in Part 3, the marionette metaphor. Who is actually inhabiting this broken world? To decode the title in that recurring chorus, we need a quick analytical lens. A metaphor is simply a figure of speech that directly refers to one thing by mentioning another, used to uncover hidden similarities. Obviously, the narrator isn't saying people are literally made of wood and string. They are using the concept of a puppet show to reveal a terrifying truth about modern society. Now, what's really fascinating is how perfectly we can map the poetic symbols of a simple puppet show onto the stark realities of an industrialized workforce. Think about it. The marionettes represent the working class, just everyday people, the unseen hands controlling them. Those are the massive systemic and industrial forces. And the strings themselves symbolize a complete loss of personal agency. People aren't choosing where to walk, they're being walked. Let's zoom out a bit for Section 4, Echoes of Industrialization, and see how this builds into a much larger critique. By understanding the metaphor, we realize that Marionette's Walk is a profound piece of social commentary. The author's using these rhetorical tools to provide commentary on issues in society, specifically aiming to provoke us into thinking about how industrialization affects the human condition. It's an outright protest against a system that prioritizes output over humanity. Just listen to how these specific lines strip the characters of every ounce of autonomy. Strings pulled tight by unseen hands. No life, no spark, no gas. It is incredibly bleak, guys. The people are moving, yes, but they have zero internal drive left. No spark, no life. They've been turned into mere cogs in an unseen machine, operating in a totally different world detached from the natural one we used to know. So the absolutely crucial point here is that those unseen hands aren't ghosts or monsters. They represent the overwhelming massive systems of industry. These systems dictate our schedules, our labor, our entire movement, and eventually they drain human vitality and independence, leaving individuals feeling exactly like that initial quote told us, a shell of empty air. Actually, scratch that. It's not all total despair. There's a deeply human resistance hidden in here. Let's shift to the final, most poignant layer of the text in part 5, searching for a soul. The text notes that these people have hearts that beat hollow, like a muted drum. But check out the imagery here. Despite that hollowed-out feeling, despite being controlled by strings, there is still a hunger in the eyes. And it's not for breath, it's not just about simple biological survival. They are searching for a soul in the living day. The subjects in the lyrics possess this deep, desperate hunger to reclaim their lost humanity. The machinery hasn't fully killed their desire to be truly alive. And that leaves us with a pretty intense, vital question to reflect on. We've explored the decaying infrastructure, the glitches of reality, and the powerful metaphor of the marionettes. But look at your own life for a second. In an increasingly mechanized, industrialized, and system-driven world, who is pulling your strings? Are you walking your own path, or are you just moving to the hum of the machine? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, everyone. I hope this sparked your curiosity, and I encourage you to keep questioning the world around you. Catch you next time.